What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Russo Show. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I am beyond excited that the universe has led you here today. And if you are an OG, you continue to come back, you continue to press play, you continue to lean into your own intuition, hug your inner child, do the work, all the things. I love you. Thank you so much for your continued support. Thank you so much for tuning in each time a new episode drops. Thank you so much for sharing this podcast to your friends and people who might gain clarity from it. It really does mean the world to me to have a space like this one where I could just put my headphone or my headset on and press record and talk about the things that I want to talk about and share my opinion on things and share the astrological insight on things. It really is such a blessing for me, to be completely honest. This podcast has been around for a long time. Even if you just found it, it's actually been around since, oh my gosh, like either 2018, 2019. I don't even remember. Like, that's how long it's been. And it has been through many different phases. It has been through its ups and downs. I've shared some of my own personal, most vulnerable moments on this podcast. And I've shared a lot of my own personal journey here. And it has just been, looking back at it, looking at hindsight, because, it's the end of the year and we're all reflective and we're all looking back. This really has been such a rock for me, this place right here, looking at my computer screen while I'm recording this. And I'm just so grateful for it. So thank you for being here. Thank you for wanting to listen. Thank you for wanting to come back each time a new episode drops. It really does mean a lot. And if this podcast is helping you, if it's giving you insight, if it's giving you clarity, if it's giving you aha moments, I would be eternally grateful if you can head on over to iTunes or Spotify and leave a review. Those reviews allow this podcast to get to the ears that need to hear it. And now, more than ever, I think that we can all agree that conversations like this, insight like this, can help make sense of what's going on in our world. And if this podcast is a place where you come to put your hair down and be like, okay, I'm not the only one feeling this way. I'm not the only one seeing the world crumble and the chaos and insanity that is coming from all of this. Well, thank you for being here because, sometimes I go on social media and the things that come across my For You page, it's just like scary, honestly, at this point. And I am really trying hard to stay off social media, which is kind of hard when you are a content creator, but nevertheless, I don't know, a lot has transpired this past year, and I'm going to talk about it, either in this episode or in an upcoming episode. I always have an idea of what these episodes are going to look like in the conversation that I want to kind of open up and the topics, and then it always derails. It's my squirrel brain, it's my manifesting generator, it's all of the things because I feel like I need to talk about all of the things. But nevertheless, see, I already kind of squirrel brained there. If this podcast is helping you, if you enjoy it, if you can do a review on Spotify or iTunes and go ahead and send that screenshot before you click submit to me on Instagram at Erica W. Russo. I would love to send you a free gift for supporting this podcast. Now that that is all said and done, I hope everyone enjoyed their Thanksgiving. I know I did. I'm in my sourdough era, if you haven't been following me on Instagram, and I am thoroughly enjoying it. And so for Thanksgiving, I was kind of in charge of all of the bread. And I made a multigrain loaf, a regular sandwich loaf, like a regular white loaf. I made jalapeno cheddar and I made homemade butter. And we just kind of had this big ass charcuterie table board thing happening. And everyone really enjoyed it. And I would say this, if you have a sourdough friend, if you have a local farmer's market around you that makes sourdough, please go and buy a loaf. Just buy a loaf, because once you experience true sourdough and what bread is actually supposed to taste like, you're never going to want to go back. Like, I'm now in the process of like, I'll make the artisan loaves, but now I'm like, I'm going to make sourdough for my kids' sandwiches at lunch, because all I have to do is just double the recipe and then put it in a sandwich loaf. So, like, right now I have a sandwich loaf of sourdough bread for my children, and I'm just like kind of having a lot of fun with it. But yeah, and maybe it is my new love of sourdough that has sparked the conversation that I want to have today. Because I've been seeing a trend with this, and I just need to say this because this is my platform, this is my safe space, and I just need to like voice it, okay? So I think the boss babe era is donezo. I think that the idea and the era of women hustling, women just focusing more on career, focusing more on making money, focusing more on, being that boss babe, I think that has shifted. And in fact, I don't want to even say I think that has shifted. I know that has shifted. And I have seen it really shift at the end of 2024. Okay. When you've been a content creator on the internet as long as I have, some of the, big digital course people. People that, have been doing the digital course thing or the coaching thing for quite some time. And it's absolutely shocking to me how many multimillionaires, mind you, like women who have built 7 to 8 figure empires, either slow down incredibly or just walk away completely from the business that they built when Pluto, okay, the planet of transformation and upheaval, entered the sign of Aquarius in mid-November of 2024. For the last 18 years prior to that, Pluto was in Capricorn. And what does Capricorn stand for? Capricorn is the workhorse. It is about hard work, duty, harder work, strategy, hustle, money, all of those things. And then suddenly it shifts into the more humanitarian sign of Aquarius, which is all about the collective, which is all about innovation, which is all about honesty, to be completely honest. Aquarius is a very honest sign, and one that can be very reflective of one's life choices. And once Pluto went into Aquarius, I have seen such a tremendous shift in the boss babe era. More women are walking away, or at least shifting gears, in order to put their lives at home and their children, and creating a home first. And I can say that I'm guilty of it. I work hard. Like, I work hard, and for many, many years I put building a business, building a brand first. And this last year, like, I never would have expected this, honestly. And this is the crazy thing about astrology, is that I never in a million years would have expected me slowing down, me taking my eyes off of the prize, so to speak, and going and looking more at sourdough and watching my starter rise, and looking more into building a homestead and garden. Like, never in a million years, never in a million years. But here we are. Okay. And that's the thing. When the outer planets such as Pluto and Uranus, as well as Neptune, shift, which, by the way, they all did and they all will be, it's like the changes are out of our control. And it's so eye opening. It really is. It's so incredibly eye-opening because once you are aware of just how impactful that astrology is in your own day-to-day life and how you think and how you do life, you're always going to believe in astrology. And yeah, so anyway, I wanted to talk about like the boss babe era, but also I wanted to talk about the trad wife era, I guess. I don't even want to call it a trad wife era because I just feel like that's just silly. I just feel like yeah, let me just get into this, okay? So I don't know if you guys follow, but I follow this content creator called Ballerina Farms. Her real name is Hannah, and she was an actual ballerina that went to Juilliard and married she got married and I think they have like 8 children and they live in, I don't know where they live, but they're essentially homesteaders and they have a farm and now they have this company called Ballerina Farm and they sell, meat and they sell flour and they sell, sourdough stuff and all of that kind of stuff. And a couple months ago, I feel like it was in early 2025, they had an article written about them and the article essentially was bashing the trad wife kind of vibe. It was diminishing like what they built. And kind of bashing the trad wife era. And then all the internet trolls came and talked about, trad wives are bad and you're slaves to your husbands and everything like that. And this whole time I'm just like rolling my eyes because here's the thing. If you have been listening to this podcast for a while, if you've been following me for a while, I'm going to say this. I have my own opinions on things. I see the world pretty uniquely. And I'm just going to say what I want to say. Now, when it comes to feminism, oh my God. Essentially, I feel like every single woman out there, regardless of if you're a Democrat, if you're a Republican, if you are white, if you are black, if you are Asian, it doesn't matter. I essentially feel like at the end of the day, every single woman just wants the right to create the life that she decides upon for herself. I think that's what we truly want. I think that, at the end of the day, if you want to have kids, if you don't want to have kids, if you want to build a business, if you want to be a stay-at-home parent, if you want to be a working mom and work part-time or work full-time, if you want to have a nanny, if you don't want to have a nanny, if you want to be a homeschooler, ultimately, I think that us women just want the freedom to choose. We want the freedom of choice. We want to be able to choose the life that we want for ourselves. Now, maybe that looks like going off grid and living in the mountains. Maybe it looks like having a high six-figure CEO job. Maybe it looks like having a nanny. Maybe it looks like just being a stay-at-home parent and making sourdough bread. Or maybe having a side gig. It doesn't matter. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who the fuck you vote for. It doesn't matter where you live in the United States. It doesn't matter. We just want the freedom to choose our life. And we have that. But the hatred and the bullshit and the gossip and the this that we see every single day kind of fucks that all up. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, if a woman chooses to be a trad wife, if a woman chooses a homestead life and homeschools their kids and does this and wears the aprons and maybe has a different religion than me, that's none of my damn business. I don't care. So long as she's happy. So long as that her soul is fulfilled. At the end of the day, our souls are guided to certain things. Each and every one of us is a soul having a human experience. And a lot of times, the trajectory of our lives are already mapped out. whether it be through our natal chart or our soul contract or whatever the case may be. And ultimately, the things that you choose to experience in this life is none of my damn business. I don't care what you do. Okay? So let's stop bashing women who choose the path of being a traditional wife or a quote unquote trad wife. Like, I don't get that. Like, why so much hate when it comes to being a trad wife? Like, I don't get it. What's so wrong about being a trad wife? What's so wrong about creating a home that is nurturing and happy and having cookies on the table for when your kids come home from school, having a home cooked meal in the oven as soon as your husband walks in, doing the laundry? You know, I don't, what is wrong with that? Stop fucking bashing women for choosing that life. Stop. Who cares? It's not bothering you. She's not a slave to her husband. She's not, like, none of that matters. Like, you literally, and like, here's the thing, the women who claim to be feminists and to, bash traditional marriages and bash, the trad wife life. I hate to say, I don't even hate to say this, I'm just going to say this. You look jealous. You look absolutely jealous. You look like you are filled with hate and anger and rage. Because if you were fully satisfied with your life, if you were truly happy with the choices that you have made and how your life is playing out, you wouldn't make the choice to bash a trad wife. You wouldn't fucking care, to be completely honest. Heal your soul, ladies and gentlemen. Heal your own soul. Keep your side of the street clean. Okay? Because I am so totally honest when it comes to my own life. And this past year, like I said, so much has transpired for me. So many changes, so many mindset shifts, so many things have come to the surface. And maybe that's the Jupiter in Cancer in my 12th house. I don't know. But I can say that this is the first year ever where I have recognized just how important it is to create a home that is safe, to create a home that your kids want to come home to every single time, every single day. Create a home where your hardworking husband can come and eat his banana and have some coffee and sit at the table and not be nagged and not want to be home. It's important. Okay, creating a home and nurturing and just being here and focusing on the well-being of the family is important. And I just feel like people just need to mind their own damn business. I have been absolutely disgusted with the human race this year in so many different ways. And one of the ways is women pinning against other women because of one, who they voted for, but also their choices. Who fucking cares if a woman chooses to stay at home and raise her family? It's none of your business. You're not paying her bills. You're not fucking her. You're not feeding her. Who cares? That is ultimately the choice of her and her husband. That doesn't mean that she is a slave. That does not mean anything. You guys are like making up this bullshit story. Stop. Just stop. I can't get over it. And the reason why I say this shit here is because, like, this is my fucking house. This is my fucking house. I'm going to say what I want to say, and you can disagree. You can see things very, very differently. And if you see things very differently, unsubscribe. I don't care. But ultimately, I just think it's wrong. I just really think it's wrong that people have this bullseye when it comes to how others choose to live their life. At the end of the day, it's about if you're happy. Are you fulfilled? Are you content? That's it. That's it. Everybody needs to relax. Everybody needs to do some breath work. Everybody needs to mind their fucking business. Like, Jesus Christ. And I swear to you, if you are one of those people who you're so fucking triggered right now, and if you're gonna, you know, leave me a bad review or this or that, like, check your soul, dude. Check your soul. I'm not saying anything that's not the truth. We talk about bullies and shit like that, and like the whole I'm rubber, you're glue, or like all that shit. Like, just focus on you. And if this is triggering you and you're like, trad wife, trad wife, trad wife, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. Why don't you really just be honest with yourself? Maybe you do want to be a trad wife, and maybe you're not in a fulfilled relationship. Maybe you're in a job that you can't stand. I don't know. But, you know, a lot of, I don't know. When I'm triggered by something, the first thing that I go to is the mirror. That's just me. That's just me. Maybe people should do that. But yeah, that's what I need to say about trad wife life. Oh, and also, if you have such a problem with women wanting to stay home and raise their family, like, clearly you have never found the satisfaction of making sourdough bread, because it's delicious and it's fulfilling and it is so rewarding. And yeah, you should just go put a piece of sourdough in your mouth if you really have that big of a problem with how women choose to live their life. Anyway, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Be sure to come hang out with me on Instagram at Erica W. Russo. I hope, again, everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I hope that everyone is enjoying their holiday season. And that's all for now, folks. I will see you guys around the internet.